Okay, this is number 4. It goes along with problem number 4 on your assessment. If you have to do this problem, it's because you need practice naming A, H, and K from a graph and possibly describing it. So we're going to go through those steps right now. I'm going to start with the A change. So to do that, I need to identify the type of function that I have. This is a quadratic. Because it is a quadratic function, my notes tell me I need to start at the vertex. So the vertex is that place at which it changes direction. So notice to find the A, I am not starting at 0, 0 necessarily. I am starting on the graph itself. So our first step is always to go one right. And notice it's one whole block, not one of these little baby ones. And then from here, we're going to count, and this is how we're going to find the A itself. So we have one whole big block and then another half block. And because we went down, it's negative 1.5. So I'm going to put that negative 1.5 right here, because that's what A equals. And as a result, that is a reflection, which makes sense if you look at the picture, it's upside down. And it is also a stretch, because when I look at this number without the sign on it, 1.5, that is larger than 1. So that's how we find A, and that's how we name A. Next, we're going to find H and K. And to find H and K, I really like to use the patty paper. So I'm going to trace my function right here so I get a sense of where it's at. And again, I'm going to put a point here at the vertex, because we're going to find the corresponding point that started at 0, 0. Now, obviously, the parent is typically the other way around. It's because it's upside down right now, but that's okay because the 0, 0 is in the same spot. And that's what matters. So the question that we're trying to answer is, how far did this move, in this case to the left, and how far, in this case up, did it move compared to the parent? So again, I started at 0, 0, because if you notice on your parent, that's where it starts. I went 4 to the left, and I went 2 up. And notice that my patty paper is the tracing I made is exactly perfectly over the graph that's there. So that means that my H is negative 4 because I went left, and my K is 2 because I went up. So as I've mentioned already, this is quadratic. So when I go to write my function, I know it's going to be a quadratic function. The A goes in the front. And because I have an H, I'm going to need those parentheses. This is where you need to remember to switch the sign on your H. It's squared because it's quadratic. And then my K is on the end outside of the grouping symbols. So that's how we found A from the graph and how we found H and K from the graph. And that's how we describe them and then sub them into the transformation function to see what it would look like for a quadratic.